Hello. Hey everyone, how's it going? Sorry for the 2 minute delay. I'm like out of breath. I ran up the stairs. Whew. I just wanted to get a cup of tea real quick. I'm just gonna wait a couple of minutes. I guess a couple of seconds for everyone to start coming in before I start talking about what I wanted to talk about today. I guess I've kind of been a bit repetitive over the last couple of weeks. I've been kind of throwing around like future plan kind of things, and I don't know. It's not an excuse. I've been mega busy, and it's been hard to stay consistent with all this kind of stuff and like all the uploads and all that. I'm on time every Sunday when I normally upload, but just these live streams have been pretty tricky. Last night I fell and my hay fever went so bad, and anyways, so I could barely open my eyes yesterday, and I definitely couldn't have live streamed. So anyways, yeah, I've got my chai tea. Anyone else got tea here? I'd love to hear who's got tea. We've got Lefty here, Cooper's here, Evan. Looks like Alyssa's here. Keemstar's here. I don't know if that's Keemstar. I doubt it. So yeah, basically, I don't know am I lagging, guys? I hope I'm not lagging because my internet speed seemed to be pretty good today. So yeah, actually, I originally said that I'd do this at, I think, 6 o'clock. I've got stuff to do now at 6 o'clock. It's been super busy. So I had to move this till now. So I'm going to be going for, I think, about an hour. We'll be talking about some future plans and basically what I'm working on. And you guys can ask some questions and I'll try and talk to you guys and interact with you guys as best as I can. Got chocolate milk, kombucha. Yeah, I've got chai tea. So chai is probably my favorite tea at the moment. I've been drinking lots of different teas, and I don't do milk in my tea, which I don't know if that seems weird to a lot of people. But yeah, I think I'm just gonna rough it and leave the tea bag in here. But so yes, basically, I guess, I don't know, for the past, I think 2 weeks, I might have talked about it. The plan has always been, I've got 8 tanks at the moment. Now, for a lot of you guys, that might seem like a lot, but for someone that breeds fish and has been interested in fish for a long time, you'd know that 8 tanks doesn't get you too far. Now, I've basically been looking into moving out all my aquariums. I'm living at home, and basically, I mean, anyone here who's got a wife that doesn't like fish tanks or has a mum that doesn't like fish tanks would know the fish tanks can sometimes get in the way of a relationship, and it's not causing problems for me at all. But I'm at the max of what I'm allowed to keep. So basically, I need to continue to grow my hobby and to continue to do what I want to do. I need to get more tanks. Now, basically, we found a spot to put the tanks. Well, me found a spot to put the tanks, and I have been doing my head in, like trying to plan this thing properly and get it done properly, because a lot of people, the biggest mistakes that they run into with a fish room is not planning it properly, like not getting stuff set up properly and making it hard on themselves when they could have just planned it, spent a lot of time planning it and getting it all right on paper so that they didn't have to deal with those problems later on. So like, I'm not a neat worker by any means. I'm a very sketchy kind of worker, and I'll just show you guys. Basically, so like this book here is just full of just like random notes and different ideas and things that I thought of. And I don't know, I can't really show you guys this because it wouldn't make sense to a lot of you guys who are watching this, seeing all these like chicken scribbles and stuff like that. It wouldn't make sense at all. I'm just looking at this now. So basically those are my rough sketches. And I've got this huge sketchbook here. And basically, I've been trying to get everything right so that the fish, because this isn't going to be at home for me, this is going to be a very weird experience, and something that's going to be, it's got to be as hands-off as possible, because it's about, I think, 15-minute drive from where I am, and you can't be going 15 minutes just to feed the fish 3 times a day, because a 15-minute drive there is 15 there, and then 15 back, it's 30 minutes just to feed the fish. So something like that doesn't work. Now, I don't know if I'm just completely nuts and this isn't going to work, or whether I am really smart and can find a way to make this work. Now, I'm hoping that I'm really smart. I don't know. You guys can be thinking something else, but I'm hoping that my ambitions for this aren't too far-fetched. So, like, it's kind of taking me a lot of courage to try and talk about this, because it's really, really scary, because I'm not afraid to do any of this stuff, but it's scary for the fact that I've got like a couple thousand people that watch videos that will be very disappointed and think that I'm silly if I stuff this up. So I'm not worried about that, but I've wanted to say something that I wanted to do and then not go through with it. And then you guys think that this guy's just full of, you know what, and he's lying and stuff like that. So basically, I'm being as transparent as possible and tell you guys what I'm like, everything I'm trying to do with this place and make happen. And if you guys want me to, I don't know, I've been kind of tossing around the idea of making like vlogs of it, because I just want to personally be able to reflect on stuff and see how it was set up and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, I don't know. Would you guys be interested in seeing vlogs of me build this thing? Because I think that it could be interesting. I think that a lot of people could learn stuff, but let me know, because I want to see what you guys think about that, because normally I don't do a lot of vlog stuff. I normally do a lot of entertainment. I wouldn't even say entertainment, like informational videos. So yeah, but I mean, we can see here, everyone's got the same kind of struggle as me. Just had a fight with my mum over the tanks a day ago. Yeah. It's like, it's a pretty common thing to have happen. Like, yes, but yeah, I think I probably will be vlogging all this stuff. So anyways, the plant, I don't know if you guys know square footage or square meterage, but the place that I'm moving into, because I want it to be so compact, and I don't want to start and kind of bite off more than I can chew. And so I've gone for like something really, really small here. Like, this isn't by any means a 100 square meter property with like a big breeding farm and stuff like that. It would just not make sense for me to do that. So the place that we're moving into is 16 meters squared. Now, I don't know if you guys know how small that is, but 16 meters squared isn't even like your general sized room. I think it's the same. It's like a one carport car park is how big a 16 meter squared room is. It's very, very small. I don't know how many square feet that'd be, like maybe 40. I don't know. It's very, very small. And since this is far away, it's got to be as hands-off as possible, like I was saying before. So basically, I'm trying to get everything automated. So that comes down to feeding, and that also comes down to the water changes and obviously lights turning on and stuff like that, which is very, very easy. Those are the three things that I think are going to be really, really important to be automated, because I want to be able to leave this for 3 to 4 days at a time and be able to monitor it from my phone, which could be completely unrealistic idea. I don't know what you guys think, but that's the goal. And basically, the system, it's got to have an automatic feeding system, which feeds like 4 or 5 times a day, all the fish. And it's also got to have automatic water changes controlled by an app. So the app isn't like, I'm not developing an app by any, like, I'm not doing that. I'm using those Google Home Wi-Fi plugs, stuff like that. You just buy them on Amazon. I don't know. We'll see how far I get. I've put a lot of thought into this. So I'm going to try and show you guys my sketches. I'm still on the good old, what's it called? FaceTime HD camera. It's 720p. It's not very good. So I'm super sorry for all the quality. I'm still getting my, what's it called? Webcam. I'm just waiting for tax things, because I want to get a tax write-off, because it's for my business. So I've been waiting for that. But anyway, so basically here's KFS's sucky sketches. Now, I don't know how well you guys can see this, but these are the racking systems that I'm going to be using. And there's also a floor plan. Now, this probably looks really, really bad. Everything looks to be the opposite way around. And I can see that a lot of people are going to, yeah, I don't know if you guys can even understand what I'm trying to show you here. Basically, this is the stand designs. I've tried to make them all the same length. And then here's the floor plan of it's a garage that we're moving into. So this is the garage, and this is me trying to like sketch on it and move everything around to be in the most optimal spots possible. And then the reason I've done this is because I want to know how high all the stands are. I want them to all be like the same height. And I'm trying to also plan to make sure that like in between aquariums, because it's going to have like different like levels of aquariums. I need to make sure that I can actually fit my arm in and, you know, catch fish out and put stuff in there like the automatic feeders and stuff like that to make it work. So basically, I don't know if you guys are really, I'm trying to talk about this live because I know that heaps of you guys have built fish rooms, and I want you to all please, I'm reading the comments as I go. It's very hard to keep going with it, but let me know if I'm doing something stupid so I don't make the mistake that you made if you made a mistake, because I want to know everything. So basically, I'm just trying to have a huge, I don't know, KFS brainstorm here, because it's really, really close to being started. And like, if there's something that I'm not thinking about, or, you know what I mean? Could be a challenge. But someone's just asked, can I fish at home? Definitely not. I think when I've got like the center going, it's going to be like, I'm going to have to treat it like it's going to be my job. So I'm going to have to go there, and I want to be able to come home and be like, okay, no fish tanks right now, and then go back. Like, so that like, I don't have to worry about doing maintenance in 2 spots. I'm very linear thinking like that. Yeah, just chuck this away. But yeah, so it's not like fully planned out yet, but that's the first thing. So thinking about the orientation of things. But the first thing I was going to say is, if you guys think this is stupid, is I'm planning on having 4-foot tanks and 2-foot tanks. So the 2-foot tanks obviously are for little baby juvies, fry going to juvie size, and then the 4-foot tanks going to be like the grow out tanks where everything sits in and grows out and gets big. There's lots of little as well, tiny breeder boxes kind of things that I'm going to develop, and those are going to be for obviously hatching eggs and stuff like that. But those have been incorporated to fit inside of the top of tanks, so that way it takes up less square footage. Like, I don't have to have a fry rack or something like that and give up space to put more tanks. So 2-foot tanks and 4-foot tanks. Do you guys think that's stupid, or do you guys think that's going to work? Because I think it's going to work. I think that I can kind of make that work. I'm not going to go, I think the 2-foot tanks are going to be 20 gallons. I'm not going to do 10 gallons because the difference of a 20 gallon and a 10 gallon isn't actually length, it's height. And I'm not too worried about that. So, so that, yeah, like that way I don't, you know, I think that that's going to work a bit better. I get more gallons per like tank. And yeah, so that was one thing I was thinking about. Won't 2-foot be a big for some fry? So I kind of think that maybe I could be pushing it with that. The plan is to try and, because everything's going to be on automatic water changes, I'm not crazy I'm not crazy worried about having, I don't know, too many fish in one tank. I don't think that that's going to be a huge issue for me. I think that it's going to be either, can the fish find the food, and that could be a problem. But I don't know. I think that the 2-foot tanks will be all right, because the plan is to keep the fry inside of these little breeder boxes as long as possible. But please show us your dog. I can't. There's no dog here. It's gone for a walk, so I can't show you my dog. Sorry. But I don't know. That could be a real. I don't know. Can I do a poll? Maybe I can. Wait. I don't know if I'm trying to figure out how to do a poll. Anyways, I'm not going to bother trying with that. Here we go. Wait. I still am so bad with. Here we go. Close that. Here, wait. I don't know how to. One sec. How do I do that? Yeah, I'll have to do that after the stream. So, yeah, do you guys think that's stupid if I put like decently sized fry? Like, we're not talking about tiny fry, because the tiny fry have to be kept in little tiny 20 centimeter like breeder boxes that are this big, because otherwise that's just not gonna, like, they're not gonna be able to find their food. So that's the plan. They're going to be sitting in a breeder box. I'm going to be feeding them tons and getting them up to a pretty decent size. And then they're going to be moved into a 20-gallon tank. So not a 10-gallon, because I find that over here, it's really hard to find, what's it called? The 10-gallon, like, our aquarium sizing is not as superior as the US is. Like, you can go to PetSmart or Petco, it seems like, and just pick up a 10-gallon tank, and it's always the same dimensions and stuff like that. Here, it's not the same. You kind of have to get stuff built. And basically, the way they work here is they're all the same length, a 10-gallon and a 20-gallon. It's just the height that's different, like I said before. So, yeah. Yeah, so anyways, that's the plan. 2-foot tanks, 4-foot tanks. Anyways, and then I tried to develop a automatic water change system. Now, this is something that I found pretty challenging. I thought this would be pretty easy. A lot of people have different ways of doing automatic water changes. Some of the ways are a drip system. Now, a drip system is constantly dripping water into an aquarium and overflowing it out the back. And basically, that does work for a lot of people. It's consistent and it can last quite a long time. People can drip in aquariums and water's being changed. For me, I felt like that's not going to work because I need to change insane amounts of food, like water. And a drip system is not going to really let me do that as easy. And also, I feel like it's not going to work as well just for what I'm trying to do. Now, I'm not saying this isn't going to work for someone else. For some people, it's going to work really, really well. Just for me, I don't think it's going to work. So there's another system, which is, I think, called like a overflow system. It's like, I don't know what the scientific fish term for it is called, but this is what I'm going to be doing. So this is once a day pumping a bunch of water into the aquarium and then it overflowing out the back. And basically what that does is it gets the old aquarium water and it flushes it out with new aquarium water. Like, it's not like a toilet, but it's like if you've got like a cup and you had like, I don't know, like dirty water in it and you put it under a tap and it eventually goes clean. It's that same principle. And that's the system I'm going to use. Now, I thought this would be really, really easy. I thought I could just link this up to the tap with a couple of filters, just take the chlorine out and just plumb it straight from the tap with an irrigation system to the aquariums. I thought it'd be really, really easy. And for a lot, like, this is where planning comes in, because if I'd just gone with that method, I would have run into a lot of problems. Basically, my tap water, in your tap, like lots of municipalities use different kinds of tap water, like treatments and stuff like that. Normally, there's chlorine, and some municipalities use chloramines. Chlorine, a lot of people like to use it because it doesn't, like, first of all, it breaks down pretty easily, but also the problem with it is it doesn't last long. So like, if you have to plumb water really, really far out, by the time it gets to the really far out areas, the chlorine's normally gone from the water. So that's where they start to use stuff like chloramines. Now, personally, I don't really like having chloramines in my tap water. Just like, I don't know. I don't like really having chemicals in the water. It seems pretty yuck. But the chloramines, they're really, really hard to break down. They last a long time, and they fix that issue with the water getting to the end of like being able to be clean at the end of the, I don't know, wherever they're trying to plumb it. Anyways, my tap water has chloramines in it. Now, chloramines can't be easily filtered out with like carbon filters and stuff like that, which lots of people use for their fish rooms. You have to either get RO systems, which take the water and strip it back to pure water, or you have to get insane carbon block filters that have huge amounts of contact hours. And basically, this is all going to be like super confusing for you guys who don't know. Like, I'm just nerding out, basically. So I had to come around, like, that's why that system wouldn't work. I can't plumb directly from the tap water. It's never going to work. So I had to come up with a different solution. Now, this is where my little blueprint came up useful. So what does take out chloramines in water? Chloramines can either be taken out with your tap water conditioners, which are like, you know, whatever you use right now. If you use like that liquid, that takes out chloramines, or like I said, the insane carbon block RO filters, which I don't think is an option, because my fish room is going to have about 4,000 liters of water, probably more. And the amount of water being changed is going to be about 1,500 a day. And you like to have that much RO water being produced is just going to be like a $30,000 filter. It's just not feasible. It's not going to work. So basically, I had to come up with a way to automate a dosing system of tap water conditioner into a huge like reservoir of water that gets pumped in. I'll show you. Basically, this is my system. Now, I'm probably going to have to, like, once I do all this, I'm probably going to, like, make a little handbook and give it out for free so you guys can see the systems that I use. But basically, this is the way I hope it's going to work properly. Now, you're not going to be able to see this too well. I don't know. Basically, here's my tap. The tap water gets plumbed into an irrigation valve, and hopefully the audio is okay. The valve, then this is controlled by like your phone or like some Wi-Fi or something like that. This is always on, and then you turn this on and you fill up this big tank. Now, this is a 2,000 liter tank, which is, I don't know how many gallons that is. Basically, this gets filled up, and this is on a timer. And there's a float valve here, which cuts it off once it gets full. And then basically, I had to find a peristaltic pump, which is like what they use in pool filters and stuff like that to chlorine. This is going to be linked up to a like dechlorinator vat, which is going to pump it in after all the water's been pumped into there. And then it's going to be pumped. Oh, man. Wait a second. We're unstable again. Just give it a second. I don't want to be talking to nobody. I think the paper's gotten in the way of my bad Aussie internet connection. There we go. And then basically it gets pumped from inside of the reservoir by just like a big water pump into all the aquariums. And then the aquariums get filled up and overflow out the back. So that's all run off of like Wi-Fi controllers and all that kind of stuff, so that I can basically do a water change from at home in my bed. So I don't know if that's going to work. Wait, is there someone behind me? Are you guys trying to prank me? I don't think there's anyone behind me. Was there a ghost? Yeah, I think it's a ghost then. Maybe it glitched out or something weird. I don't know. Hi, ghost. But yeah, so do you guys see any like issues with that system? I don't know. This is like me being as transparent as possible and trying to like expose all my issues with this system, because I don't want to make okay, it's obviously a prank. Thank you. I don't want to make like a huge mistake. Now, how did I develop these systems? I'm not going to take any credit. These have been around for a long, long time. It just takes a lot of watching YouTube, watching every single fish room tour, and trying to make like, I don't know, like plans to what I need basically. So that's my fish room automatic water change system that I planned out. I don't know if that's going to work. I mean, on paper it works, and I've been trying to think about it so often so that like anything that I'm missing comes out. But that's the plan for the automatic water changes. Now, here we go. This is a great drawing by KFS here. So this is the tank setup. We've got some new subs here. Thank you. So there's, like I said, 2 foot and 4 foot tanks. Now, in the 2 foot tanks, I'm going to have mat and filters, and that's because that, first of all, is going to turn like a 20-gallon tank into a 15-gallon tank, because it's going to like occupy the back of a tank. And it's also going to be able to catch out, like it's going to make it easier to net out a bunch of danios or something like that if I have to, because you can get like nets that are the same width as the 2 foot tanks and just go and suck out all the fish really easily, so you don't waste time catching fish. Now, the 4 foot tanks are also going to be not there. Well, the 4 foot tanks aren't going to be run off of mat and filters, because it's just too expensive and it doesn't, in my head, work very well. They're going to be run off sponge filters. Now, basically, here's the system. So this isn't a great drawing again. This is the 2 foot tanks. They have a mat and filter, an overflow bulkhead out the back, and a lid, and obviously like an aquarium and not aquarium light and something like that. And the 4 foot tanks just have a sponge filter. Now, I've just drawn these out to try and cost how much it's going to cost, because you need to know your budget before you try and build something, because you don't want to run out of money. Otherwise, the project fails. So that's the tank setup. What do you guys think? Have I pitched you on that? I'm not trying to pitch you on anything, but I just want your opinion. because does that seem to work? I can just imagine all the light bulbs on top of your head. Yeah. I've been driving myself nuts thinking about this stuff. I've been trying to get it right, and that's why like I've not been really talking about it in the stream. So basically that's the tank setup plan. What do you guys think? Matte and filters good? I've never used matte and filters, but I have no one's opening my door. No one seems to have problems with the matte and filters. I think they do really good. So yeah. And then the air system, again, super easy because all of this, you could run all of this off of like hang on back filters, and you could run it off of like, I don't know, canister filters or something like that. But the problem is they take up way too much power, and they also occupy a lot of power plugs, and that makes it really, really expensive. So the air, all of the filters, here you go, just give my internet a sec. So all of the filtration in the room is going to be run off of air pumps. So I have to use a central air system, and that's going to run around, like, imagine this room was a fish room. There'd be like up here, there'd be like a big PVC pipe. I don't know. It'd be like a big square, and it'd have tons of drop downs. And we'd be pumping a bunch of air into the aquariums and then running the sponge filters and the matte filters. So super, super simple. It's just literally like that. I've just drawn it out so I don't forget about it. It's just going to be run off of, as well, a linear air piston pump. I've never used a linear air piston pump. So anyone here who has one, please tell me whether you've used one, because I want to see everyone's opinion on them, because there's also like blowers and stuff like that, but I think they're more loud and I don't think they're as efficient. But yeah, if anyone wants to like send me a like DM with what you've got in your fish room and stuff like that, just do it on Instagram, because that's the easiest way for me to see it. I normally sometimes like get a bit lost with the DMs, but that's definitely the best way. Okay, so here's another thing that I had to consider with this project. This is my fry incubation system, like my fry hatchery, I don't know, fry rack system. Is that what you call it? These aren't my idea. This definitely is not something I can take credit for. This is from Dean's Fish Room. So I don't know if no, it's my neighbor's dog. I'm sorry about that. It's not my system. This is fully Dean's system, but basically I'm just copying that. What these are, like, first of all, I'll show you this drawing here. So this is what they look like. They're just simply like little plastic containers. This is like overflow out the back of it. This is just like a piece of sponge to stop fry and stuff getting out. Basically, these are as well extenders so that they can fit onto the edge of like the aquarium's, I don't know what you call it, like the inner lip of it where you put the lids and stuff like that. They're going to be resting on that, and it's kind of going to be like sitting like this along the top of the aquarium. And basically the way this works is so this is a 4-foot tank. Now, basically there's a little water pump here. This is going to be pumping water into like up along this big pipe. And what that's going to do is it's going to be constantly feeding fresh water into all of these boxes. And what that's going to be doing is making sure the fry are going to have really, really clean water, and I don't have to like automate water changes for a bunch of different like boxes. I can just do it for one aquarium each day. And there's also going to be a bunch of air stones, like not stones, just air getting blown into each one of the boxes. So there'll be like water constantly being pumped in, and there's also going to be an air pump going into each one of these. I don't know if this is making sense at all. I really hope it is, because it kind of makes sense in my head. But the reason I've done that and not like put a bunch of hang-on boxes or stuff like that is because it's the most cost-effective, and it also means it's the least work. Like, I just have to build the boxes, and I can keep adding more on and stuff like that. But so people got Gemco pumps, and we don't have Gemco in Australia, but I think that's I think this should work. I don't know. Give me a thumbs up if you think it's going to work, because I really hope it does. By the way, to all the people who have just joined, I'm drinking chai tea. I want to know what everyone else is drinking, if I've got them onto chai yet. Oh, okay. What else have I got? So I've got my stands. That's very basic. It's just the pine stands, which I've got now, but they have a bit of a different. You'll see they use dado joints instead, so that there's more support on the legs instead of on the frame and the what are they called, nails going into it. So, okay, all right. This is gonna get me into trouble if it doesn't make sense to a lot of people, because I think that this could either be really stupid, like really stupid, or very, very smart. I don't know what this is. I'm just trying to get this right so that I don't have to spend $40 a piece. No, more, like $50 a piece. Automatic for body. So I don't know what. This seems so silly. What I've developed is what I'm planning on doing is here. I think I'm disconnected again. I don't know what the heck is happening here. Let me just do one of the classic moving. So what this is, this is an awful drawing. This is my automatic feeding system. Now, the way this works is what we have here is a rotisserie motor. Now, these are used for like barbecuing. Now, if you put like a pig or something on that thing, and you put it over a fire and it turn. So it turns like this way. Basically, the way this works is you just have a big rod. Now, this could be like PVC or something like that. It doesn't have to be anything too structurally sound. It can just be it could be anything. But what we have here are little salt shakers. Now, all of these salt shakers have different sized holes for what I'm trying to do. So, for instance, like a hole could be used for flakes, a hole could be used for micro pellets, a hole could be used for like Hikari first bites, whatever. Basically, the way this works is these all sit vertically. This is connected to a Wi-Fi plug. And yeah, sorry about my artwork, guys. It looks really good, hey? And what this does is this motor does 2 rotations per minute. So the Wi-Fi plug will 5 times a day turn on for a minute. And what it'll do is it'll turn on, and these will go upside down twice and drop in food twice. So you just have to adjust these salt shakers for how much you want to feed, and it'll automatically feed all the tanks. Now, obviously, I'll have to be there like every couple of days to fill up the salt shakers and make it work. But I think on paper it works. Obviously, I don't know because 2 rotations per minute means that it's going to turn like very, very slowly. So maybe I'll have to make adjustments for that, or find something that turns quicker so that less food falls in. But I can see it like working. That's how the what are they called? The automatic feeders, like that Eheim and stuff make work. But this is run off of one plug. And yeah. By the way, someone's just said, the problem is if your food gets humid wet. So the plan is to obviously not have a ton of food in there. The food's going to get changed out once a week. And there's also going to be dehumidifiers and stuff like that in the room, so that we don't have like fungus and mold and stuff growing and issues like that. But that could be an issue. That could be something that causes problems with stepper motors. I want to see that, because I was looking at using the motors from like inside of a microwave, the ones that make the bottom spin. But I don't know how easy they would be to wire up, and the wiring's already done on a rotisserie motor. So I don't know if that's really stupid or a good idea, but I don't know. It seems like people think that it could work. Like Lefty says, it's a good idea. It's creative. Yeah, that's definitely true. It's creative. But I don't know if it's going to work. If it doesn't work, then I don't know. I have to come up with something else, but I think it should work. Yes, so that is an issue too. So like imagine if they jump out of the water to try and reach the food. So what the lids on the aquariums are going to be the double sheeted just polycarbonate stuff. I don't want to use the corrugated stuff anymore. I want to use I think it's twin wall polycarbonate. And basically I'm going to cut a little hole of where the food falls in. And I mean, if a fish can jump out of a hole this big, well, I mean, bad luck my way. Like, I don't think that my risk is very high with that. And then basically it'll just drop into that hole. I mean, obviously I'm going to run into issues when I build this, but hopefully that works. So I guess, yeah. Okay, here we go. So anyone who's just joined won't get this, but why not just feed them? So because the new fish room facility isn't at home, it means that I can't be at home and feed them all the time. And so I need to have a way to automatically feed these without me being there. And also, if you have like, say you have like fish, if you have tons and tons of fish and you're trying to breed them, they need to be fed constantly to get the best growth and the best water consistency and stuff like that. So I'm going to be able to make more fish and quicker if I have automatic feeding, because they're going to be constantly getting fed and have good nutrition and stuff like that. So I can't just, I mean, it's a 15-minute drive to be like going to the spot 3 times a day. And I also have to be able to leave it like for a couple of days at a time to, you know, I mean, if life gets in the way, you know, like how life is, I mean, I can't be there every day. It's just not fair on me. So that's why I'm trying to automate everything. I'm not trying to be lazy. I'm just trying to make it so that it works. But I don't know. I don't know. What does everyone think? I think that it should work. I think that should work. What else is there that I can show you? Air conditioning, an overflow system, super, super simple. Yes, CCTV is one thing I'm doing. So that's not like for security or anything, but that's more to make sure that I know that if there's been a power outage or if like a tank's flooded or, you know, something like that, I think that should work. The lighting, this is something that there's no drawing for, but I think could work okay. Now, let me know if you guys have done this, because this, again, could be another one of my dumb ideas or good. But basically the plan is to use those LED strip lights and run them across the top of each rack. And then that way it'll give hopefully sufficient light to make like to light up the fish tanks and let me see all the fish. But I'm not going to be growing many plants, so it doesn't make sense to have like expensive lights on each tank because there's no point. And also that means that I'd need like, I think 70 wall plugs if I had lights like that. So for me, that didn't seem to be an option. Now, if anyone's using those strip lights, let me know, because this is something that I've been kind of insecure about on the design, because I don't want to make like, I don't want it to not work, like that kind of lighting, but I don't know if that's a good idea. But yeah, I want to use the LED strip lights. That could be a really dumb idea. Some of you might have tried to use that before, but I think it should work okay just for lighting up the fish. Yeah, the plastic roof gutters. I might skip out on the plastic roof gutters because I don't see much use trying to, what's it called, bring light back in, because there's going to be so much light in the room. So yeah, I'm just going to be trying to run it across the top of the stands, and then it should be working okay. I don't know. Floodlights could be good. Yeah, I don't know, because I kind of want like it over the exact top of all the tanks. So maybe we'll see. The fish don't need a lot of light, and too much light normally isn't that great for fish anyways. Like at the bottom of a river, it's not very well lit at all, is it? So yeah. Yeah, so seen it done with strip lights and you can connect them to each other. So that's correct. Yeah, so like it makes it a lot more efficient, but yeah. And floodlights could grow too much algae, that's true. I'm not worried. I think the lights are only going to be on like 3 to 4 hours a day because I don't want to grow too much algae. Otherwise, I'll spend a lot of time cleaning stuff. That's pretty much it. And then like we're talking about heating before, so it'll just be run off of aircon. The reason it's not using heating, like a normal heating system, is first of all, those heating systems have been known to cause fires. Don't want to have a fire in the fish room. And I don't have a problem with like using that. If you're using that and it works, and that's up to you. But I'm going to be using, like aircon, because also it gets really hot where I'm from. So during the summer, I need to be able to cool the room down. And I think I'm going to run it at about 27 degrees. And then obviously if I need to run it like hot in some tanks to breed some certain stuff, then I'll put heaters in just like and manually do that. But I prefer to use like a central air system, like a central heating system, costs less and it uses less wall plugs, and it should be all good. So I think I've covered everything. The stands are just, I didn't really get into depth on the stands, but I think how can I explain it? The stands that I'm using are going to be from Ted's Fish Room. And I mean, his stands look the best and they look the most cost effective. I could have used cinder blocks, but they don't fit well into the room and they take up too much square meterage. So I'll lose a lot of tank space. One issue that I think I'm going to run into is that some gaps in the room, like in between tanks, is only about 55 centimeters. Now, I'm a skinny bloke, so it should be all right. But that is very, very skinny. And I mean, this isn't like designed to be here for, I don't know, like more than 3 years. Like it's out once it starts to work, hopefully. But we'll see how it goes. Hey, like I'm just disconnected again because internet sucky. Sorry. So yeah, basically, the flooring. The flooring's just concrete. I'm not going to bother with carpeting or anything like that. I can just hose it out then that way, and yeah, it should be pretty easy. Yes, strip lights can also be controlled with dimmers, which is something that I think is probably good. How old am I? Yeah, I'm 19. I look younger though. I don't know. Yeah, I do look a bit like a 16-year-old. I won't lie. I guess it's a compliment. But yeah, that's the plan. That's the plan. Thank you for listening to my my TED Talk. Yeah. So basically, does anyone have any questions? I want to try and answer some stuff, or if you guys tell me that something I'm trying to make the least amount of mistakes. But yes. Yeah, so it's just going to be aircon in the room. That's the idea. It's not going to have heating because you can run an aircon at like 25, 26 degrees and it should work fine. And that's the temperature I want to run the fish room at. Here's a good question. What type of fish? What type of fish am I keeping now? At the moment, I keep pistogrammas, angelfish, rainbow fish, endlers, a bunch of different plecos now, corridors. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. But obviously now we're going to be turning into like a ton of fish. So I'm going to get into rams. I've got a list here of stuff that I want to keep. I'm going to be trying discus, a bunch of different bristlenose, and pretty much going to keep it pretty vanilla. There's not a lot of stuff here that's like crazy. But yeah, like obviously fill it out once it's built. So yeah. I have a lizard. No, I don't. He's asleep. No, I don't want to bring out the lizard. I'm going to try and breed discus. Yeah, so I'm going to try and breed the discus. Got heaps of tetras probably on the way too. Blue night rams. I don't think we have any of them in Australia, do we? Maybe we do. I'm located in Brisbane, not Sydney. Yeah. Can you keep corridors in a planter tank with carpeted plants? It wouldn't damage their whiskers, but I don't think that you'd grow any carpeting plants because they love to go through that substrate and do all that kind of stuff. So I don't know if that'll work, but give it a try if you want to. I don't see any problems with it. Like it's not going to negatively affect the fish by any means. It'll just, maybe you won't grow a good carpet. Yeah. Like a weird light beam on my camera. Weird. What else is there? Sharks, no. Is it possible there is a $3 pleco? Yeah, most of your bristlenose will cost about that much. They're not expensive at all. What is the safest way to take fry out of a tank? Now, that's from Bobby. So, okay, there's a few ways that I do it. The first way is just to net them out really quickly. If you can get a good scoop in there, that normally works. That's my least preferred method. My favorite way to do it is to normally use like a turkey baster with a big opening and just suck them all out really quickly. And that sometimes works really well, but it obviously depends. Like I know for a fact you're breeding the Brams. I'd be doing like an airline tubing to a bucket, and I'd just be like getting like you're siphoning out the tank. Start siphoning and just get the siphon right next to all the fish and siphon them into a bucket. And that's kind of the way I'd do it. I don't know if that's a bad way to do it. I don't see why that'd be an issue. I think a lot of people like to use that method, and that's probably the easiest way to strip the fry now. Obviously, that's not going to work if the fry are big, but if they're really newborn fry, that should work fine. Is there any chance of me buying Pracox rainbows off of you? So, yes, there is. I've slowed down a lot of individual, like selling to subscribers and stuff like that lately. First of all, I'll be honest, had some issues because it's been super cold lately. So had a few like problems with shipping and stuff like that. It wasn't good. And like, obviously I refunded and stuff like that. But so I'm waiting until it gets warmer, but also like this project, obviously you guys have seen how much thought I've been putting into it and making sure that it's done properly. So basically this is taking up a lot of time, and I mean, we haven't even started building yet. So that could be like, that means that I'll have less time to spend on just like running the store, and the store's going to be put on hold for a bit and then picked up once the center starts going, because that's the idea. But yeah, what was I going to say? So yeah, I don't know. It's just like, yeah. Why do you take your fry out of your pistogramma tank when you can leave them in there for a bit? So the reason I did that was because I needed fry at the time, which sounds really like greedy or weird. You can think that if you want to, but the reason I say that is because I'm trying to, like, I don't know, consistently breed stuff, and I need to have like stock coming through all the time. So like, if I leave them in there, yes, it means less work for me, but it also means that if they eat them, then I lose out on like 6 months time having fish to sell to you guys and to the local fish store and stuff like that. So I definitely needed to do that. But yeah, don't donate, Bobby. I keep telling Bobby every week to stop giving me money, because literally, I like, you guys, I say this all the time, but just hitting the like button on all the videos is like, it helps so much more than you can like imagine. So yeah, don't please stop, because I don't, yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. But it makes me feel really like, I don't know. Thank you. Tell us more about Rummy Nose Tetras. I don't know what I can tell you. They're pretty similar to all your other kinds of Tetras. They're very easy to take care of. Well, actually not. They're easy. I've taken, yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't say that they're like kind of intermediate, I thought, but I have a 20-gallon black water tank. What fish do you recommend? I was thinking a school of neons. That'd be really good. Yeah, maybe some neons, maybe some black neons. Some dwarf cichlids could be really good. Not like crebensis or something like that, but just your standard kinds of, what are they called? Like epistogrammas and your agassizias would be good. Yeah. If yeah, I was gonna say, is winter the best time to breed bristlenose? So bristlenose aren't like a fish that needs to be bred in a certain season. What was I gonna say? You want to have like, sorry, I'm just getting, this is the most I've had in a stream before, so it's like crazy that I've got heaps of people commenting, so it's like kind of putting me off. I need to like hide the chat or something like that. Bristlenose breed all times of the year, so just once you get like a male that's constantly breeding, they're going to breed all year long. Like, it's super easy. So like, it depends. If you want to breed them for profit, try and find like the best time that they sell, and then breed 6 months before that, because then say if you sell like heaps of them in the summer, breed heaps of them in the winter, but vice versa. So yeah, yeah, don't donate me $100. I have to give you your fish. Yeah. Here we go. What's it called? How do you get like 100 subs a day? I don't know if I get that many. So yeah, like, I don't know, luck. I think I can't really, because yeah, I think that mostly it comes down to a lot of people just hitting the like button. That helps heaps. Yeah, but just luck. Like I've had tons and tons of growth, and because of that, that's why I'm able to start building out a proper fish room. Because obviously, like you earn a little bit more money from ads and stuff like that, where um, you can start to invest it back into your business, and that's basically the plan. So like, yeah, just like lots of luck. I think that the video that did really well was the neon tetra breeding series. That did really really well. I couldn't believe that. I put a lot of effort into that one, but yeah, you guys really liked that. So um, yeah, but I don't know. How long does it take for an angelfish pair after getting them? So normally when you buy angelfish, they'll be like, I think dime, quarter size normally. They're about an inch big, standard. Like, so from that size, it takes about 6 to 8 months for them to get to the size where they're big enough to breed and start pairing off. Now you can obviously have, I'm trying to line this up better. You can obviously have exceptions to that rule. Like you can have, like they can take sometimes like 1 month, not 1 month, a couple of months, like 4 or 5 months instead of 6 to 8 months. But it's normally about that time. I'd say about 6 to 8 months is normally the standard. It took me about that long. If you guys go back on the channel, you would see that, like, you would have seen the videos where I first of all got all my angelfish, and then now you can see that my first batches are starting to roll into selling. So it's taken, I think, like just over 1.5 years for that to happen. So that's how you can, I don't know, kind of like plan it a little bit better. I don't know if that helps. I'm not too sure. Maybe, I don't know, if you give me some little things that happen, then maybe I can give you a good answer. Do you like honey gouramis? Yeah, I like gouramis and honey gouramis and all that. Sometimes you can have really aggressive ones when they start to get to that age where they start to breed. So maybe just be aware of that, because that could happen. But they're good fish. They are super cool looking, and a lot of beginners really like them. What should I feed my koi catfish? I've actually got a video coming out probably like this weekend, and it's going to be 7 tips on koi dories. And basically, my recommendations are, they are a super gutsy fish, so they like to eat heaps. I'd recommend feeding like a ton of bloodworms and flakes, and I'd also do like flakes, some micro pellets maybe. They're not too fussy, but just heaps and heaps of like, oh, even veg matter is really good sometimes too. I like to feed mine the canned green beans, and they fall down to the bottom of the aquarium, and yeah. Do I have help? I don't know what that means. No, I don't have anyone else that that like I'm the one that does all the editing and filming and all that. What cave size should a pleco have for breeding? I don't know the size. I think that like as wide, like when they start to breed, once they get to that size where they start to breed, as wide as their two side fins are, because what they have to do is trap the female in the cave, and the way they do that is by spreading those two fins out. And if the tank's too big, I mean the cave's too big, they're not going to be able to do that. But if it's also too small to get in there, they're not going to be able to do that. So I think that like maybe, I think like 5 centimeters is normally a standard, but I'm not too sure. I don't know if that's the right number. Just try and figure out that width, and then you should be all good. Hardest fish I've ever kept. Is that like the hardest fish to keep, or is that the hardiest? Because the hardiest is definitely the endless, I think. Oh no, angelfish definitely probably the hardiest. I haven't had any losses with angelfish really. But the hardest to keep is probably neon tetras. They're very tricky to keep. I've also had trouble keeping when I first got my dwarf neon rainbows, they were super sensitive, and I don't know the reason for that. They were very tricky to keep. So some of those really finicky fish were kind of not that good to keep, not easy to keep. But yeah, I think the neon tetras have been. I haven't had, like, I've lost like 1 or 2, and like, yeah, they come in really dodgy sometimes. You got to really try and find a good good, respectable seller of neons. Show us your lizard. I'll show you him next stream, I think, because I don't want to disturb him. How old is he? He's like 7, I think. I don't know. Yeah. What is one of my biggest challenges I've faced since starting to keep fish? Trying to what's it called? Like, actually stop wanting to buy more stuff, I think, is the biggest thing. Also, I think a lot of other people, haven't really, like, I've gone through phases in fish keeping where, like, I've burned out, but I don't think I'm in a position now to burn out from fish keeping. But a lot of people, burnout's really common in the hobby, and I think that's a problem that other people face, but not me right now. But the biggest challenges I've faced is probably wanting to keep growing it and wanting to get more tanks and, like, yeah, I always want more stuff when I'm keeping fish. That's just how it is. Do you want to try an axolotl? I do, but not yet, I don't think, because, I don't know, maybe when I've got, like, more tanks, like, once that's done, then I might do it, but yeah. I was wondering if you could breed cherry shrimp and endlers in the same tank, a 15-gallon tank. Yes, definitely. That would work very good. They'd work really well, because the thing about the endlers is they have that tiny mouth, so they normally can't even fit, like, babies into their mouth. And just heavily plant it, give them lots of spaces to hide, ton of success. It's like one of the best matchups. Like, how many times, like, I don't have a problem with people asking me questions at all, and I love answering them. But, like, maybe that question was the best. I was like, thank you, someone listened to the videos. Yeah. One sec, I'm unstable. Yeah, see if I can move this to get no technical difficulties. Sorry, guys. Can I order a pleco next week? I wouldn't. I've taken everything off the store for now, and I think that maybe, like, I really hate turning down people because I obviously want to sell to everyone, but I think that's probably going to be a couple of months before I start to sell fish again, because it has to get warmer and I have to just get this project underway, and that's probably, it's just tricky right now. What is the most you've ever purchased for your aquariums? Like, okay, so I think that's fish, and it's definitely plecos. I've spent, I think, too much money on. I don't know. I don't want to, like, spent like a couple $1,000s on L low carado plecos. So, yeah, that it's really easy to just burn money on fish, especially if there's rare ones. I have a thing for the rare fish. It's a weird collector's mentality, but I really do enjoy keeping a lot of stuff, and I feel like the reason I want it isn't because it's like I want to make more of them so other people can have them. It's like I feel like, I don't know, it's cool to take a guppy and breed it, and that's super satisfying. But if you can breed something that is, I don't know, lots of those L number plecos are, like, very rare in the wild and like endangered in some instances, and to make more of them would be really, really satisfying. What is my spirit fish? That's a weird question. Not weird, it's a good question, but I don't know. I've never thought about that. I think that I'm probably, I would say, probably like a Danio. I'm not, like, fast, but I would think the Danios are very aggressive. I'm not like aggressive, like angry or anything like that, but I do like to get stuff done. Like to, I don't know, do a lot of stuff, and probably a Danio. But I also like to have like heaps of friends around and stuff like that, and all my family. So probably a Danio. I don't know. I need more thought to give you a really, really good answer, or an L46, yeah, because I don't know. That's my dream fish, the L46. I really want them. What tank size would you recommend for a single angelfish? I'd do 20 gallons. tomorrow I'm going to get a 20-gallon tank. What do you recommend? Yeah, blobfish. No. I recommend whatever you want to put in there. Just don't put in an Oscar. I don't know if I've got a 20-gallon fish recommendation video, but I don't know. My first instinct would be angelfish, like one, or because I just answered that question. Maybe a couple of cories in there with some guppies would be cool, but I'm really not too sure. But do whatever you feel like doing. But yeah. What else can I talk about? I feel like my brain is completely like still like empty now from trying to explain everything about the fish room. So I don't know. What did you guys think of that? Do you think that plan's going to work? I really want to know, because like put it like, I don't know if you can do emojis, but put a thumbs up in the chat if you think that fish room going to work. Good idea. Or put a thumbs down if you think that the auto feeding system's not a good idea. But yeah. We got a thumbs up. Got our first one. Hopefully there's a lot of thumbs up. I hope that I haven't not thought of something, or you know what I mean. But okay, cool. All right. Maybe. Yeah. I think the feeder does need work. That's true. I think that the feeder is going to take a lot of trial and error to get right. It's a very ambitious auto feeder sounds kind of cool but sketchy. That's true. Yeah, I think that the auto feeder is like, for me, I think that's like an 80% could work, and then 20%, oh my God, what am I trying to do? The reason I say that is because when you think about it, the auto feeder, because it's got the salt shakers, right? I think that when the salt shakers, because they're going to be upside down for quite a bit of time, either the momentum of the fish food is just going to go and it's just going to fall and drop a little bit of food, or what's going to happen is there's going to be other gaps, and it's going to allow the fish food to just go shh and just rain fish food and cause huge problems and ammonia spikes and stuff like that. So obviously I'm going to test it on my kitchen table like 200 times before I actually start to implement it, but maybe I should make a video on that. I don't know what I'd title that, but I'd probably title it like how to make an automatic feeder for tons of aquariums. But we'll see how it goes. I can see how it wouldn't work, but I think that if that's an issue, like when it's upside down too often, I'll have to just find something that turns quicker, and that'll work. Yeah, that'll make my mum happy. Hey, no, I'll clean it up so it'll be all good. Or I'll do it when she's not home. Sometimes they can, short out and dump all the food. That's true. So I feel like it wouldn't though, because the reason I feel like the fish food is going to stop itself from falling. Like if you've ever because it's such tiny holes, it'll only just drop a little bit of food in from the momentum and then turn around. So I don't know. I don't know if that's completely wrong. Do you feel guilty when you eat fish? I don't eat fish very often, and not because of keeping fish. I just don't like it that much. So, but I wouldn't like fish. Yeah, it's like not a pepper grinder. It's like if you've ever got like a spice jar, and you know, like when you open the lid off the spice jar, how it has like the I don't know what they're called. Basically, so you can just dust onto whatever you're cooking. That's the premise. But fish food inside of that, and it turns a couple times a day to drop in food. So yeah. Yeah, also with auto feeders, you have to keep the lid open unless you have a reptile top instead of glass. So I might not want to use it with jumpers. Yeah, like the plan is to try and get it on above, like the middle of the aquarium, like in the middle of the lid, and then cut a little hole. So like the chances of a fish jumping out are very, very small. And then if a fish jumps out, well, like it's just super bad luck because the hole's so tiny. So I don't know. Yeah, you do have to have the lid open. And that was something that I only remembered like a couple of days ago when I was playing. So I was like, how did I not think of that? Like it seemed like it was all going to work, and it's just one thing comes up and another thing comes up. It's just like I'm trying. The reason I'm over planning it now is I'm just trying to avoid as many mistakes as I can and trying to know exactly everything that could go wrong. Yeah. My stomach gurgles when I look at my fish tank. Mine does definitely not. No way. I've had a guppy jump out on me with a built-in lid. Anything's possible. That's correct. Yeah, like I've had one of the worst jumpers I've ever had is crebensis. I've lost 2 crebensis, I think, all time from just jumping out the back of like a tank lid, or like they always find really weird ways to get out of the tank. So I don't know if any of you guys have noticed that, but crebensis for me are just such a tricky fish with that. But I think that like if you have like a tiny hole, I think that the chances of something getting out are very, very unlikely. But anything's possible. Anything's possible. Saying hi from South Africa. Hello. Other side of the world. Yeah. I think I'm from Australia, obviously, as you can probably tell from like my accent. But I think only 10% of my audience that watches my videos are from Australia. So yeah, it's so crazy to think that there's so many people. But yeah, they're like from all across the world. See you later, Ryan. Just wondering if a 14 centimeter bristlenose could breed with a 6 to 7 centimeter female. Probably. It depends though. Like 6 to 7 centimeters. Yeah, probably. I reckon they would. No, it depends. Fish stores, like I said this last week, fish stores are, yeah, one sec, while the connections, let the connection come back. Hopefully everyone's still here. Here we go. Yeah, so like fish stores are one of the hardest retail businesses to run. There's just so much risk and there's so many big overheads, and I feel like you have to be a really special kind of person to be able to run a fish store. Like, not like it's hard. It's not like rocket science, but it's not easy. That's for sure. So not for a long time, I don't think, but maybe at some point. We'll see how my life goes and what I feel like doing and when and all that kind of stuff. But I've only had one jumper, and it was a Harlequin Rasbora of all things. Jumped out of a 1-inch slot between the glass and lid in the back of the tank. Yeah, like I've had, Danio's the same. Like they're notorious jumpers. Like everyone knows that they're bad jumpers, but because I had the glass lids on the aquariums that I have now, they jumped out the corners of all things, like what you just said. But it was not even 1 inch. It was like a couple of centimeters, and these babies were jumping out. And yeah. I couldn't run a fish store. I'd want to keep them all instead of selling. Yeah, that's one thing too. But I feel like the biggest issue is that you have to be so good with customer service, because like people can't, like, if you have like any bad moments where you just feel like down the dumps, people notice that when they come into your fish store, and like they're not gonna, I don't know, you can create really unenjoyable experiences, and it's so hard to be like always happy and like helpful, especially when you probably get asked like 50 times a day by like customers, can I keep it better with an Oscar and stuff like that. And like, I can understand how that'd be super tiring. So I feel like that's probably one of the hardest things. It's just like constantly being happy for customers and trying to like help out people. And I feel like if you did that, they have to be open 6 days a week because they're competing with Amazon. So like, yeah, it's definitely not an easy business at all. Make a vid on my lizard. Nah, I see, like, yeah, I couldn't do it on this channel because it's all about fish, but maybe I could do another one. How did I get my channel so big? I don't know. I wouldn't consider like my channel to be crazy big, because like Aquarium Co-op has like 400,000 subscribers. That's like a crazy number. Hey, I'd say my channel's like doing like pretty good. I'm super satisfied, and my channel's bigger than what I would have ever imagined it to be. And yeah, like I don't do this for numbers or anything like that. I just enjoy obviously making all the videos, and that's why I try and do it as consistent as possible. And for me, it's just like something I enjoy doing, and it's turned out to be pretty cool. But I think I always say this: if you guys want to make videos on YouTube, one of the best things you can do is try and make videos that you want to watch, or that you would watch yourself. And yeah, that's probably the best way to make content, is just to try and have like, I don't know, content that you like. Be critical of your own content, because then you make better stuff. Like, don't like, if you notice something wrong with a video, people will notice it and like tenfold. Like, people always comment stuff like if you've done something wrong, or, and that, like, the other thing too is like, there's tons of videos that I've made where like they suck. Like, even on this, like, this channel has tons of videos that suck. And the reason they suck is not because I didn't try. It's just like, at the time I wasn't good at making videos, and it's just taken, like, I think we're up to 190 videos on this channel or something. It's taken that many videos to get them to a standard where like people aren't commenting like, oh, you say, oh, too much. And now they're commenting, you say basically too much. Like, it's you never, like, just have fun doing it, because like it's super, super fun. But there's heaps and heaps of videos that you can watch, and they'll teach you on how to make videos properly and use software. And there's tons of free software as well that you can use to edit videos, and just like, I don't know, just make stuff and try and have fun. Like, yeah, like last year my videos kind of weren't that good, and my Mo, oh yeah, I remember that. What is my favorite YouTuber? I don't have a favorite. I watch tons of, obviously, all the aquarium channels. I watch like channels that are huge. I watch channels that are small. I feel like I watch a lot of, I've been watching tons of Flip Aquatic fish room tours lately, and that's just because it's like needed to watch tons of fish room tours to make sure I don't make mistakes and can plan and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's what I'm watching at the moment. But I also watch like, yeah, just tons of random stuff too. I watch like the weird ones where like people build houses off grid, and just tons of weird things that you just end up watching on YouTube when you ever do. Any tips on keeping a pistos? Yeah, keep them in really, really soft water, and keep them also in like a planted aquarium. That always is like the best thing to do. So yeah, I think someone's talking about writing a script. So I'll be honest here too. So I don't want to like just, I mean, this channel's about fish. It's not about me. And I feel like for a lot of people, that annoys them about some channels that do fish videos, because it can turn into like I'm not like trying to cause problems or anything like that. But sometimes it can just turn into a channel about about the person and not about the animal. And I don't really want it to be like me like blowing my own whistle or whatever. But I don't write a script when I make the videos. I try and like plot out a bunch of dot points, and then I try and like remember all the dot points and just make it work. So don't like overthink it too much. Don't get analysis paralysis and just like not end up doing it. Just do it. Like, try and yeah. LRB has a crazy complicated water change system. I think that he, because I looked into it, because he has so many tanks. I think the way he does it is manual, but mostly I think he uses like a Python. I'm not too sure. I don't think it's automated. But he doesn't manually, but he also has tons of planted tanks, which means he has to do less water changes. So that's how he does it, I think. But yeah. I lost my plecos this weekend. I don't know why. My water levels are fine. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say, but I'll be ending the live stream in 15 minutes, by the way. So if anyone wants to stay till the end, please do. But if you don't want to, then thank you so much for watching it. But I'll just answer questions for the next 15 minutes or so. So if you guys want to just keep listening in and keep asking me little silly questions, or like good questions as well, they're not silly at all, but keep asking me questions, and that's what I'm going to do. So yeah, I don't know. It's super hard to say why you lost your plecos, because like, I don't know like what from or what they looked like or stuff like that. But yeah. Fish keeping plus tiny living, will that work? I'm so confused. I don't know. LRB's now automated, man. Crazy complex now. Yeah. Okay. So let's see. Anyone here who, like, obviously Bobby knows. So just drop in the chat how it, like, is it a drip system? Is it a backflow system? What is the system? Because I can imagine that his system would be very, very difficult because, like, basically, I think mostly because his tanks are all separated throughout the house and it's not like one line of water that you run. It'd be like a bunch of different lines, and the pumping and the plumbing for that would be very tricky. So maybe that's why it's tricky. I've got to watch his videos because I've been watching maybe I watched too old of a fish room tour, but I remember it was all manual. Bodgy's here. I live in Victoria, Australia, and this is my first winter. I'm struggling keeping the water temp 26. Any advice? Are you using just the classic water heaters? Because those seem to work okay. It's just when you don't use those or you try and heat the room, it can be a bit of a problem. So if you're trying to heat the room, insulate it, and that could help. But then I guess your room could look like a drug lab. But I'm not too sure. Yeah. Parker's Reefs has a great video on how he did the water change system, which runs throughout the whole house. Yeah. The other one is Steve Poland has a really awesome video where he plumps it straight from the water line. But the biggest issue with those systems normally, I don't know about Parker's system, I haven't seen it, but the issue with his system is that it doesn't take out chloramine from the water. So if you have chloramine in the water, it doesn't work, and you've got to find a way around it. But you can use a similar system and use like the one I'm doing, and it should take out the chloramines from the water. But I obviously haven't done it yet, so I can't tell you if it's going to work. So hopefully I don't mess up, but if it works, then you guys can start to use it. And hopefully my fish room's completely automated, but I'm not too sure. Literally just airline tubing that's fed throughout the whole house. Wow. HC Aqua's in. Hello. What to do with dead fish like plecos? I don't know. Just I wouldn't eat them. Just throw them out. Overrated fish keepers keep. I'm so confused. Been here from the beginning. Yes, you have. Thank you so much. The pet store I visit seems like they have a drip system for their bedders. Yeah, so the bedders, because they have small bodies of water, like a drop in a bedder thing that's like 1 gallon is tremendously big compared to a drop in a 55-gallon aquarium, which is where drip systems kind of come in like a bit not that great. So they don't work in big tanks, and that's why I can't run a drip system like in a 55-gallon tank, because I'm trying to change 25% every day. And it's just, I'd rather just flush it out really quickly. I don't find that the water changes, like as long as you don't have huge ammonia spikes and huge fluctuations in chemicals in the water, big water changes normally don't affect much. Like unless you're tampering with pH and stuff like that, and you can cause pH crashes. I don't know. I'm trying to keep it really simply. Like, but I find that I don't have problems with people doing like 80% water changes. Like that to me doesn't seem to affect the fish too much as long as you've got the consistent kinds of water. The problems come in when I think people do like 1 week they do 20%, but then they don't do a water change for like 2 weeks, and then they do a huge 100% water change or something like an 80%, and then they shock the fish. But as long as they're consistent, like water changes and you're keeping it really constant, then always you never run into problems like that. Would you keep a glowfish? I personally wouldn't buy them, but I mean, I've heard like people talking about like they would rescue one, but yeah, like I don't know. I don't have a problem with the GMO stuff. Yeah, I don't know. It's controversial, but I mean, how bad to an environment is a glowfish? Like, it's obviously not going to survive in the wild, but like, it's I don't know. I wouldn't buy one, but I'd rescue one. Will you be heating the water storage tank before it runs to the tanks? That's a good question. So yeah, it's going to be in the same room, so it'll be heated anyways. There's plans for maybe it being not in the room, and in that case, it'll. I mean, the coldest the water would get is about 10 degrees in my area, so it's not going to be like hoses into the tank. So the water would have enough time to drop a couple of degrees every day, but I don't think that would affect too much. So I don't know. We'll look into it once it starts, but I think that's not going to be a huge problem. I found my angels eat black beer BBL and eat the white snarite eggs. Happy surprise. Yeah, that's cool. I haven't noticed them to do that. Maybe they do, but I just don't see it. Because actually, when you say that, now I don't notice that. I don't see a lot of snail eggs in my angelfish aquarium, but I do see snails, and I think that they must lay them like underneath pieces of driftwood then. But yes. Will I keep you updated on the project? I'm really interested in learning from it as well. Of course. So I was asking you guys at the start of the vlog, or I mean the live stream, if you want me to vlog this, because the vlogs, I feel like a lot of people can learn from it, and I'll try and do it in as much detail as possible. Now, the reason I'm asking you is I'll just be doing it, but I feel like my content's been curated to a different kind of audience where it's mostly like quick, punchy videos. But if you guys enjoy those vlogs, and like you would want to see them, I'll definitely put in the effort and make them, because I personally was just going to make vlogs anyway, but maybe not like make them public, because I wanted to have a like log of what I'd been doing. And I wanted to be able to go like and look back on, okay, well, there's like a water line here and stuff like that. Just really simple stuff, but also be like, wow, this is really, really cool. So yeah, I don't know. Do you guys, I think that the vlog would be a good idea, but documenting the project is going to be a challenge. Yeah, it will be a challenge, but I don't think it'll be that big of a challenge, because I'll just use the good old phone, and I'll just do a like edited, but yeah. So I don't know. I probably will do it though. There's a high chance that I'll be doing vlogs. There's a high chance. But thank you everyone who stayed in for the live stream. Thank you everyone for asking questions. I really do enjoy doing these live streams. But keep doing what you're doing. It's great. Yeah, I think that so I'm gonna try and sorry, my voice is getting really tired. I'm gonna have to hop off in a second. But what I'm gonna be trying to do is make the same kind of videos that I'm doing now until this is done building, and then move it, or like make this still like KFS style videos from the new facility. But yeah, I think I'll try and do vlogs as well. And whoever's interested in watching them will be interested, and hopefully it'll be something that everyone can like kind of like look back on and learn from my mistakes. But yeah, I think I might wrap it up here, but thank you so much everyone for staying in and listening to my my blueprints. Hopefully next week, I don't know, I've got some more stuff to tell you guys and report, and we can also chat more fish. I'll try and keep these more consistent. Obviously I missed the Sunday last week, or yesterday, but I'll try and do it again this Sunday. Obviously schedules are kind of random at the moment, just because you've got to have like what's it called, I don't know, like meetings with people and all that kind of stuff. So thank you so much everyone for watching this. Thank you everyone for staying in. There's so many people here today. That was crazy. I haven't had this many people in a live stream. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I really do appreciate it. And I'll see you guys in the next video, but I'll also see you guys next Sunday, hopefully. Thank you. Yeah, see you guys.